I'm Sam.
I'm Jack.
This is DareToTalk, and today we haven't got a guest today. We wanted to do an episode, me and you.
Yeah.
Two men talking mental health, which is important, I think. Do you know what I mean? This is the little intro. We'll talk about our day to start with. I was just telling you.
Yeah.
I just done a Daddy's Burst Daughters under 10s match.
Nice.
Some of them were vicious, man. They were vicious.
Getting a hard time on the football pitch.
I did, mate. Yeah,
Kids.
I got a hat trick though. I got to put that in. That's the ego.
That's the ego kicking in.
One woman said, "You're trying a bit too hard." I said, "You're not trying hard enough." I said to you, one bloke said, "Should we take it a bit easier?" I told him to get off the team.
We're dealing with that sort of action.
No, I had to get in goal at one point because it was their throw-in. Well, it's our throw-in, but then they got the throw-in, and I actually got annoyed. I went, "No, it's our throw-in. It's our throw-in." And I thought, "Do you know what? I am taking it a bit seriously. I'll go and go."
You know it's bad when all the kids are looking at you going,
"Yeah, calm down. Sin bin."
Yeah, totally.
What have you done today?
I had a lovely little trip down to Clacton today.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously we were down for the dip this morning. We had an awesome turnout.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
Yeah, it was.
Had a good chinwag with a few people down there. And then I went down to Clacton to go for a walk with mate Kim. She's training, she's meant to be training for the London Marathon, and she's meant to be training for she boxes, she's got another fight coming up, but she's just not the most athletically minded person, and
so she signed up for it.
She has, yeah. She's in the marathon, but she's not doing too well with the actual running side of training just yet. But we got a walk in, and that was beautiful down Clacton. Lovely blue skies and sunshine, and it's
summer's on its way, isn't it?
Perfect, man.
I love summer. I love the winter and that now as well. But I love the summer. It's on its way. I've been doing a couple of evening dips with my daughter as well. Both daughters have come down, but one of them's only got in. But she done really well in the water last night and the night before. So proud of her. She was determined. She's a little nutter like me though. We were getting in the water and the stuff she was coming out with was making me laugh. It was so cold and she was going, "She can tell me!" It was like she had Tourette's. And she was going, "Mama, it's cold." It was brilliant though. We're going to do an evening dip tonight, I think.
Yes, no, I'm up for that. I've not done an evening one before, so
we're going to do this podcast and then do a little dip, and I think we're going to film a bit of it, stick it on the YouTube channel. The goal is to start growing the YouTube channel, so if anyone's listening to this, please like, subscribe and share it for us, and
subscribe. Absolutely,
get the message out there.
Today's
episode we're going to be talking mental health, a little bit about my mental health, a little bit about yours, and try and inspire other blokes to get talking about it, and women. Like I said before, everyone's mental health is important to me, but can't argue with the fact that 75% of people that took their lives last year were males, and that's a problem, and I think talking about it can help. So enjoy the episode, guys.
Enjoy. Alright, hello everyone, welcome to Dare to Talk. Me and Sam here today, so we're just going to start talking about sort of our own mental health and how we deal with things sort of day to day and the things that we've been through. And I was just discussing with you a little bit earlier just around sort of what I've been through sort of at the moment with I had quite a tough decision to make with my work recently. I've been struggling with my current role, just with there's various bits and pieces. I enjoy aspects of the job, and I absolutely love it. I've only been in the job entirely for 4 years, and been in the current role for about 18 months as a manager, and it just brings with it a whole heap of responsibility and pressure, and a lot of kind of politicking and stuff like that. I was struggling with, and I found around January time I was getting a bit fed up, and I was questioning whether it was something I really wanted to stick at, whether it was something that I really wanted to go through. But on the back of that, there was also the feelings of I'm only 4 years, I was just under 4 years in the job at that point, and the opportunity that I've been given to even get to the role I'm in now that's unheard of. So there's that pressure and the opportunity and the support that I've received, and now all of a sudden I'm thinking, no, I don't really want to do this. So it was difficult. And then a role came up on another part of the place where I work, and I went for it. did an interview, successful, and then it was almost set myself up into this horrible circumstance where I had this new role, which was essentially a drop down in sort of pay and position within the establishment, and it's tough. That was a real tough decision. I had to weigh up my options then as to whether I'd just go over there and break away from the stuff that I'm doing.
You were caught in two minds, weren't you?
100%. And I spoke openly to you when that was all sort of going on, and God, I fucking struggled. And it was a case of like every morning I'd wake up and that it was weird. You go from this real peaceful moment of being asleep. I'd wake up and then I'd just feel this dread. It'd be like, I'd feel it all across my chest and in the back of my head.
Horrible,
and it was awful. Every morning I was having that.
Yeah.
Stuck in between whether I go for this role and throw away everything that I've achieved, essentially, or I stick at it and potentially get myself run down and ride until the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
That's generally my approach to it. When things get tough, I just try and fucking blast through it.
Yeah.
And I have got good resilience, but I felt like I didn't really want to. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I didn't really want to have to go through that, and I was leading towards potentially a burnout, and that's the last fucking thing I wanted.
Yeah,
and,
but you spoke to some colleagues about the decision you had to make.
Yeah.
Is that something you would have done in the past, spoke about it, or would you carry that?
No, I probably bottled it up. And the problem is my current position I'm in now, that's a real kind of focal point role, so I know everyone and everything that's going on in my place of work. I know do you know what I mean? Everyone knows what I do and everyone knows who I am. And quite often although I am a people person, but I'm a bit of deep down, and how I was as a kid, I'm quite an introvert, and I like just my own space, my own time. And I was finding my mental health, I wanted to escape into that little introvert thing, and I was letting
get back into old habits.
I was totally, and I felt it was difficult. I was letting a lot of work slip. I was letting a lot of things pile up, and then fortunately I ended up so this has been pre-booked for a while, but that kind of time wise it came around at the right time. So I still hadn't made my mind up. I'd been successful. It's quite funny actually. I'd been successful, and the day I was told, the guys who were on the interview panel, told me, congratulations, you've got the position. And they said, do you want your feedback? And I just sat there, and I knew I looked miserable. I wanted to be pleased because I'd got, I'd been successful in an interview, but I couldn't, and I knew I looked miserable. And when they said, do you want your feedback? And I just went, oh no.
No thanks.
No, I don't. I said I've got some decisions to make, and then I just got up and left. And it was probably, I think 3 or 4 days later, one of them came up to me just on the side. It was towards the end of the day, and said, "Jack, I was a little bit confused the other day. I told you were successful, and you looked miserable. What's going on?" And I just went, I said, I know it's now put me into this conflicted area where I've got to make a decision, even though I've put myself into it. I'm now in that position, and that feels horrible. I said, I'm just so troubled. But like I said, timing wise, that came about around the time that I had a trip away. So I had a holiday away for 4 days.
Went away, thought about it, and you've made your decision now, haven't you? So
yes.
That relief.
Oh, mate, that was ridiculous. So I think just before I went, I thought, I'm going to stick at what I'm doing as a manager. And then whilst I was away, went to Vienna and Bratislava, and I was out there with a colleague of mine, and she convinced me to go onto this other job. So I changed my mind there. But then when I come back, I spoke to my mum, spoke to my nan, and they kind of just hammered home that I needed to stick at what I'm doing. And then I went into work Monday, and I spoke with a governor there, and he kind of just hammered home the fact that I do need to stick up what I'm doing, and that was the last little thing that I needed.
So talking about it has got you well, it's made your mind up a lot quicker.
Oh, mate,
if you bottled it up.
Tell me, honestly, I spoke to fucking everyone. Literally, anyone, everyone, ex-colleagues, current colleagues, people who don't even know me. Like, honestly, I was speaking to everyone just to try and get their opinions on it. Yeah. And it did help. It definitely helped. And don't get me wrong, I think I've changed my mind probably about 30, 40 times, back and forth. Yeah. But I've decided to stick at what I'm doing, and when I finally did tell my line manager this is what I'm doing, I'm going to stick at it. It felt like, I was speaking to Marcin, the Iceman, down at the dip this morning, and I told him it felt like it was like a dark cloud just got lifted off me, all my senses, and instantly my mood improved, my work ethic and my workload and how I was processing things just improved, and I had a different attitude about me. I had a different posture. Everything just changed, and that was literally the sort of 2-3 days after that decision. All this stuff that had piled up on my desk, I just broke it all down. And it didn't look as daunting as what it had before.
Well, it's never is anyway.
Exactly.
We build stuff up in our minds, don't we? And it becomes this massive, drastic ball of fear. And when you sit back now and you've made your decision, and you just say that relief. That's the relief. Just so, it's because you just think, well, wasn't that bad. It wasn't hard of a decision. I spoke to people I needed to speak to, made a decision on it, and all that dread and worry was for nothing.
Fucking hell, this roller coaster of emotions that I went through. I even told you I've done something I ain't done since I was bloody early 20s, but I ended up binge eating, and I have not done that in fucking years. And it was bonkers that this thing set me off, and I had a day where I pigged out on everything, and I just sat there and I passed out on my floor like.
When you spoke to me and said you'd done that's the first time I've ever questioned myself binge eating. Do you know I thought, I binge eat sometimes, and that's to change my emotions. To get like I used to use drinking drugs. It's the same thing with food, and it never even took that into consideration until we spoke about that the other day.
Honestly, I did it. Fuck me, I think the last time I'd done it was probably. Well, it was when I first found out about my health anxiety, and I spoke about that previously. When I first found out about all that, that kicked in then. That's probably the last time I actually did it. But to think all these years later, I can still go back into that mode.
But that's because I've said it before. You get that your emotions become an anchor, and I think you can actually get addicted on a feeling. I generally believe that, because when I was depressed and had anxiety and everything, even though I felt uncomfortable, but I was used to that emotion for so long, I generally think that was my comfort zone, so I always drew back to it. And even though we've got tools and stuff that we use to deal with our anxiety and depression and stuff now, it's hard to break old habits sometimes, and when emotions are running high, like you were looking for a new job and everything, it's easy to fall back into old habits. Sometimes you just need to talk like we did and snap each other out of it, and that's why I don't think you can do it on your own. I think that's why I try to encourage so many people to talk, and like you're just proof of it now. You spoke
100%, man.
You spoke and talked it through, and
totally. I'm very fortunate the fact that I've got a lot of people I can turn to who understand me and know me well, and I
put a status up this morning with the picture, and it was on my daily reflections. I can't remember quite what the status was now, but I can see where people misread it today, and I had people message and reaching out to me.
Well, I think I'm probably going to have to get that up so you can remember.
I can, but that was my point. I had so many people reach out and message me today. It was really nice, but I thought something bad had happened, because I was like, "What's going on?" But my mate rang me before you come round. And he was just like, "I thought you'd relapsed."
No way, really?
Like, but it was just generally like. Find it quickly and we'll have a look what it said.
Here we go. It's difficult to recall what tripped me last week.
Yeah.
Is it that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so the post was, it's difficult to recall what tripped me last week, and this fact alone should bring relief while I'm looking at today's potential hazards. And that was put up around the dip pictures.
So. I put it on the dip pictures, but I put it as an actual status on Facebook as well, because I liked it. It was a daily reflection I get sent to me each day in recovery. Liked the quote and was thinking of the bigger picture, not last week, but my mate thought I'd relapsed last week. but I haven't. So I just thought it'd be good to clear that up.
Just clear that one up.
I can see why. But
I
had a few people messaging me as well, and it's really nice for people.
Yeah, and I feel the same. I was telling you earlier, but I've randomly through doing this, I've had a bunch of people that will just come and talk to me, or I'll get messages about stuff, and
it can be overwhelming sometimes, but it's also nice as well.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible. I used to say I'm shit with names, but it turns out I'm shit with faces as well. So I have to sometimes feel like I dealt with earlier when people were talking to me, and I don't know if I know them because I used to do a lot of drugs, so my memory's shot to bit. But some people just recognise me from the dip and that, which is nice as well. But so I sound like I'm tooting my own horn here. I'll get a picture with you.
No, I get that, mate.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I feel there's like this dark cloud come off me, and my focus was mad. It was literally over a couple of days. I broke down everything that had been winding me up, and my focus now was just around switching off from work and not being stuck in that mode, and not letting the things that are out of my control.
That's exactly it.
Wind me up.
Yeah. You can't worry about things that are out of our control, because it's just all that does is creates more worry and more concern, and if it's out of your control, you can't do nothing about it.
I know.
So you're just damaging yourself.
Yeah,
really.
and that's tough, because I was listening to a good podcast today with that's Josh Brolin, the actor. But he was talking about how his son, he's got an his eldest son is he struggles with depression and anxiety, and he said a lot of it is linked to the fact he's a very sensitive soul, so he's very astute to people's emotions and feelings, and he takes on a lot of things that are out of his control. And I really picked up on that, and I thought, wow, no, I think I'm similar to that. I do pick up on a lot, and I am a very caring person. And, if someone tells me they're not feeling right, or like one of my members of staff at where I work, I'll stop everything, and I'll spend time and I'll invest in them, and try and help and support them. But in doing that, what I was doing previously is I was taking a lot of that on board. And even when I left work, I was still thinking about those things that I'd invested in. That's
another thing about finding balance. I love to help people and everything, and that's another reason that I think got me out of the mess I was in, because I've always been a kind and caring person, and wanted to help people. And I realised when I was at my lowest a few years back, I couldn't help anyone because I was so I used to have suicidal thoughts like 6-7 times a day at some points. It'd always flash back into my head, but I'd use that as an anchor of comfort in a way. It sounds weird, but I'd always
get that.
When I was depressed, I used to think to myself, if it gets much worse, I can always just kill myself, and it would do it. And it wasn't I was thinking, right, I'm going to kill myself. At that point, there was like 2 occasions where I really strongly considered it, and I talk about that openly now, because I'm one of the lucky ones where I didn't, and I say that with complete gratitude, because look where I'm at now with my life. I've just got a new job and started and everything, and if I had made that decision all them years ago, look how much I would have missed out on. And I say that as well with the utmost respect, because I'll take into consideration someone that is listening to this who's lost a loved one to it, how much that might hurt. But in all reality, we can't help them anymore.
No.
But what we can do is spread our story and our awareness, and be hope for someone that's in that situation 100%. Now. Do you know what I mean? And
and I'll attest to that. I think just from from the 2 podcasts I've done, I spoke about a few things in my history that have happened, and when I've been suicidal, and and that recklessness that I had back in 2017, where I was driving myself and pushing myself because I wanted to end it, because that was where my head was at. But reflection on that, I'm so happy that I didn't get to that point. And
exactly, and we are the lucky ones, because there's people that have been in the same situation, feeling the way we did, that have actually gone through with it for whatever reason we didn't, and we're here now. And I think the best thing that I can do, you can do, is tell your story of hope to other people, the same as what I do with my recovery and addiction and stuff, to inspire someone, because you never know if someone is where we were at then, listening to this, and then hear that we're doing all right now, gives them hope for the future. And then they've got a future all of a sudden, whereas for a long time me and you both thought we didn't have one. Do you know what I mean?
Oh mate,
I understand that got really deep really quickly.
But that's I think that's just traits of the sort of people that we are. And I do it with my work, and I do it with my friends and whatnot. I can go straight into that, because I've been in those dark places, and quite often people do need to cover that. Because that helps people, and I know it does, because just from the content that I've put out about myself and my history, and I've had messages from I must be up to about a dozen now total, from people who have listened. It's helped them, and they've told me it's helped them, and that for me, I
so
thought,
rewarding.
And I just thought, I didn't really do a lot. I just told them stuff that I've been through and things that I've experienced, and I thought, if that's helping people, just the power of talking and stuff, and then I think just by talking about it on this, and then that leads to someone messaging, and then leads to another thing, and it has like a chain effect of positivity. Like I've since doing the dips, I've had people come down there that were in a really dark place, and then that led on to radio interviews, and a bloke heard me on a radio interview, and then we got speaking on the phone, and he was having some struggles with work and with his wife and everything, so took on the cold showers because he doesn't live by the water, and now he's back in the same room with his wife and stuff, and it's helped him. And then he spoke to someone at work, and it's inspired them to do cold showers. Do you know what I mean? Positivity leads to positivity, negativity leads to negativity, and by talking about the negative stuff, I'm hoping it sparks a positive positive whatever. You know what I'm trying to say, man. And as I say that, going back to me making my decision, that just instilled in me this positive energy. And by the end of the week, it was like yesterday I had a long day at work, but I was in such a better place, and I know I was, because a lot of people that I was going around doing my rounds around the different areas, and people were saying, "Jack, you look a lot better." And I went, "What do you mean?" And they went, "Well, you've just not looked yourself like the last few weeks or last month."
New spring in your step.
And I went, "Oh," I said, "You notice?" And they went, "Yeah, no, definitely noticed." I said, "Well, it's good, because I'm if they're seeing it and people picking up on that, that's
which that's another thing in recovery and with mental health and everything. People that are in a bad place, if they see how well you're looking and how you because you give up a different aura. When you're depressed, you're slugged over, and you look depressed, don't you? Your body language says it, your face says it, your pale skin says it, because you're doing whatever you are to get out of it. Do you know what I mean? But when people see, especially if they've seen you in that situation before and now see you healthy, people comment to me all the time, "Well, you're looking so healthy," and all that, like you just said. They want what you've got. Do you know what I mean? Because they think, "Oh, well, if he can do it, then I can do it as well," because that's what that point that I make as well. If I can do it, like I'm 8 months sober on Tuesday.
Amazing.
And I feel fucking incredible. And I was in a really, really dark hole for a long time, and that's what I want to do: lead by example, and prove to people that if I can do it, and the amount I was drinking and drug taking, lying, deceiving, I was a bellend. But if I can pull myself out of that hole and switch it round, then anyone can. Anyone can. And that's why I'm doing this and doing the things I do. And just as an added bonus, doing all this stuff is drawing like-minded people like yourself, other positive people around me. Like, I think when you're doing drugs and you're drinking a lot, you're hanging around with people that are doing drugs and drinking a lot. When you're doing something positive, like doing the dip and working on your mind, and you're in recovery, you hang around with people that are trying to do better for themselves as well. You draw into this world what you put out. Do you know what I mean? So that is what I'm trying to do. Lead by example, and and show people that they can change it around.
I think obviously by the time this one goes out, the podcast with Gary would have gone out, and we didn't really talk about, obviously that was prior to going to the CA meeting that you invited me to, and I think just for me, I've thought about that quite a bit since coming to that meeting, and reflecting on it, and I just, the stories that people have there, and obviously the story that was shared on the day, very traumatic and hard stuff that people have been through. But there was nothing but positive energy there,
and you can feel that in the room.
Totally, and I did not feel. I didn't feel like an odd one out. I went in there thinking, "Fuck, like this, I'm going to feel like a right idiot here," because it wasn't. It was everyone was positive.
Yeah, because everyone in their rooms wants the same thing from each other, and that's for everyone to get better. Yeah. And when I go into them rooms, I look around and I've been going there nearly 8 months now, and I look around and I see people that are trying to do better for themselves, for their families, for their kids. Stop robbing their families, their friends of their peace of mind. They're trying to do better, and some of them slip up, and I have even more respect for some of them sometimes as well, because it's hard. If I was to slip up tomorrow, which I won't, but if I was to, you wouldn't see me back at a meeting next week.
You'd be too embarrassed.
Yeah, and when I have one drink or a line of cocaine, I fucking grab the ball with both hands and go running with it, and I'd be on a bender for 3 months. And you wouldn't see me because my whole mindset would change. That's why I can't allow myself to fucking even consider it. But some of these people, they'll have a slip up and they're straight back in the meetings and they're hard on themselves. But then people get their arm around them, they get in it, and I think, you're trying, and I respect that so much. Trying to change your life around. They say in the meetings sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. I'm lucky I've got this stuff quite quickly and I understand it. Other people struggle massively, but for them to keep coming back even though they're struggling, I'll take my hat off to them. What I don't respect is the people that don't bother trying. You see, they've got kids and stuff, and that's my opinion, and that's just the way I see it. But if you've got a problem with drink and drugs, there's problems and that out there, but you've got to at least be willing to try and change your life around, if not for your sake, for your kids as well, but you've got to want to do it for yourself automatically.
You do. I mean? Yeah, totally.
But it's not easy, don't get me wrong, but there is help out there, and you can't, like I said, if I can do it, then you can as well. It's not easy. We're sat in my flat now. If you look out the window, you can see a liquor store. There's a place below us that sells alcohol. Do you know what I mean? But if you work the program, work the solution, you don't even, like, literally, I can honestly say to you, I've not even craved a drink or nothing in them 8 months since I worked this program. And when I went sober before, like for 1-2 years at a time, or a couple of months when I was doing it on my own, I was just walking past the pub every single time wanting to go in it. Because I wasn't working the program, didn't have the solution. With CA and AA gives that to you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But like you say, you feel that love in the room and everything, and you get an automatic understanding of each other. Yeah. Because your friends and your family can be very, very supportive, and they are, and they love you, but they're not addicts, so they don't understand you. But you can understand an addict's story because you've been through it. You know how their mind works. So you've got the same mind as you. You know what I mean? You can walk into an AA or a CA meeting anywhere in the country, and you can be welcomed with an arm around your shoulder. You're spoken to, made a cup of tea. Couldn't do that at football. We couldn't do that anywhere else or any other situation. Do you know what I mean?
I get that, mate, and I think there was just a real sense of that everyone in there they had that ownership of what they've been through, their wrongdoings, and their slip ups and things that they've made in life, and I think that is so important. And I see it now clear as day in a lot of people, not only at work but outside of work, but a lot of individuals that are struggling and they don't have that. They don't accept what they're going through. They haven't got that ownership of their own actions.
Well, the people that don't recover are the people that you've got. When you go into recovery, you've got to be completely honest with yourself. The most important thing. The people that don't recover, it says it in the big book, the people that don't recover are the people that are unable to be honest with themselves. You've got to go in there and own your recovery. Like I've put my hands up with my sponsor and spoke it openly in meetings. I fucked up. I fucked up big time. with my friends, with my family. But that wasn't me. That was the addict.
Yeah.
And I've done horrible things, and I've done that. I've stolen, I've cheated, I've lied, right? But that was because I was ill, and I've forgiven myself for that, because you have to. If you don't forgive yourself, and you don't be honest and own it, then you've got no hope. You have to go in, and that's what the steps are for. When I completed them steps and I owned it, and I said, yes, I was wrong here, and I've made my amends to the people that I've hurt, and some of them accepted it, some of them didn't, and that's fine. My side of the road is clean, and it's up to them. I don't expect anyone to forgive me. Luckily, my friends and family have been absolutely amazing. I'll put my hands up to things I've done wrong in the past, and it sounds cheesy, but it's like being reborn. I'm fucking born again, because I'm starting over. Because
that awakening thing.
It is, yeah. You have a spiritual awakening when they say when you go into recovery, but it is like, this is my second chance at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've fucked up. I've done wrong. Now, from now on, I can't, like we were saying before, you can't change things that are out of control. The past's out of my control. I can't change none of that. What I can do is be the best version of myself and be a good man today.
Yeah.
Alright? The addict, the liar, the cheater, the bloke that stole, he's dead to me. He's gone. He's dead and buried.
Yeah.
Because I won't put that poison inside me anymore, which makes me that person. What I can do for the rest of my life is be a good example to people why not to go down that road.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not to pick up a drink and a drug, because it changes people. No one ever done a line of cocaine, and no one's ever started off a successful story with it. Oh, well, it was drink and drugs, and then everything went right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever drink and drugs are involved, it's horror stories.
Yeah.
Now I can be that example of, and maybe be a warning to people not to go down that route.
Yeah.
Maybe there is an alternative to deal with your anxiety or your depression other than self-medicating with drink and drugs.
Yeah, and there is. And I think we're both of us, we're clear indicators of that. And Christ, and when we talk about those kind of spiritual awakenings, I mean, I've had it this year. This year has gone. I couldn't have predicted how this year went. I mean, my last year, we haven't spoken about that one yet, but I went through a very similar year to what I did in 2017 last year, and very, the starting point was very similar to what happened back then as well. And through that whole process, I feel like I have gone through an awakening. My whole, especially leading into this year, everything changed. And as corny as it may sound, kind of that starting point this year was when I first come down to do the dip in February, and from that point on, everything's changed. I've got a very different approach to things.
It gives you hope, doesn't it, that there is other things out there. There's tools that you can use to deal with what's going on, and the good thing about that dip as well is there's other people. You look around, and it's a bit like the recovery rooms. You look around, it's all people trying to do better.
Yeah,
they're all there for their own individual reasons, but they're all there for the same goal, and that is to do better with their lives. And there's something magical about that. And if you start your day off in the water with that same sort of feeling of love that you get in like the room that you said, if you start your day off with that, only positive things are going to happen. Like some days I go down there and I'm just quiet in the water, and I'm at one with the water. Other days I fucking moan your ear off about something. Do you know what I mean? My whole life still happens when you're in recovery. I still have bad days. I still have things that go wrong, and I need to vent. But the difference with me today and to years ago is if I've got a problem now, I can talk to you about it. I can talk to my friends and family about it, and I don't keep it up and bottle it and fill it and then let it turn into rage. I have a little moan. I have a little grumble. Sometimes a big grumble. I let it out, but 9 times out of 10, I try to say positive. Do you know what I mean? Like, my brother would strongly disagree because he's the one I normally bring to rant. He probably thinks, I thought you meant to be this positive.
Yeah, no, I get it, mate. I'm the same, and I think with my role at work, I'm a problem solver. Yeah, that's what I do. There is a title for what my job and what I do, but essentially I just solve problems all day. Yeah, and quite often my head will go when someone presents or comes to me with issues or whatnot. My first instinct is just to go, right, how can we solve this? But then that will peter out, and I'll go into more of that caring side and that, you know, how can I support someone or whatnot. But I'm the same, mate. I was saying to you earlier, I can go down there some mornings. I'm quite happy to, you know, say hello to everyone, have a little chinwag, you know, chat while we're in the water and whatnot. Other days, I don't want to fucking talk to anyone.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
And I think that's that little, I call it like the inner ape in me from, you know, that goes back to when I was just a little kid, and that introvert and that person that wasn't a very outgoing person that I am now. But that is still there. That's still there in me. And some mornings,
and it's also just being fucking human.
Yeah, it is, mate.
Some mornings you feel that you can talk to people. Some mornings you don't want to talk to people, and that is absolutely fine for you, for me, for anyone.
You know, that's not just the mornings. That can be sometimes when I finish work and I'll go home and I don't want to fucking talk to anyone. I just want to.
And we don't have to overanalyze or overthink it. It's just being human.
It is. I just want to have a shower. I want to have a bit of food, and I just want to plonk myself in the TV. And some
days you fucking earned that. Do you know what I mean? You earned it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
That is absolutely fine. Like to be that person and do that. Like, some days I can give someone the best advice in the world, and other days I need to sort my own mind out so the next day I can give someone good advice. You know what I mean? If I'm not feeling it that day, I'll probably end up giving someone bad advice. You know what I mean? So it's not you've got to take care of yourself to be able to help others anyway. So you don't have to feel bad for not wanting to talk to people some days.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Don't want to talk to you now.
Yeah, no, you mean, mate. Just fucking fed up. I'm fuck's sake, Sam. I spoke to you on the phone like 5 times today. Jesus. No, totally. I get it, and for me, it's like just going back to sort of what I've just been through with work. But I've put myself, like, the next few weeks, I've got a really busy schedule. I'm flat. I've only got a few days off where I'm not going to be in work. And previously, you know, start of the year when I was in this mindset of being really low and feeling, you know, in this slump, and I'd look at me, you know, my diary and see that I've got a long stretch, I'd be fucking devastated. Genuinely, I'd be looking and thinking, oh fuck, how the hell am I going to get through that? But mindset, I mean, now I look ahead to these next couple of weeks and I just think, I'll be fine, because I've got a goal later on and I'm off to Benidorm in for a few days.
You always sort yourself out.
Those goals are set.
Yeah, you have to. I think you have to have something to aim towards.
That just keeps me level, and even when I'm stuck and I know that I've got a long day, that'll always be in the back of my head. I'm like, well, if I get through this, it's just another day I can tick off before I jet off on holiday again. Sit in the sunshine and drink some cocktails. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But I think that's just how I function, and we have these ups and downs, and that is just part of life, mate. That is.
Speaking of jobs, I've just started my new one.
You certainly have, mate.
Oh, mate, I'm so happy with it as well. And that's another thing that I was saying. What I was just saying about what you put in, you get out. And when you start thinking positively and hanging around with positive people, positive things start to happen. Yeah. And now I'm working with fresh food, fresh produce, like great people, great hotel and restaurant. The food is outstanding. The head chef knows his stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. People always say to me, "You need to get back into cooking," because I post pictures of my food. And the head chef was showing me pictures of his food the other day, and I went to show him, and I went, "I've got no signal." He made my food look like shit. Okay, but and he said he's going to teach me everything he knows and stuff, and we can put our own specials on the board. And that. A couple of years ago I wouldn't have even been able to go for that interview. Do you know what I mean? Let alone do the trial and then get the job. So that's another thing with recovery and being positive and sorting your mental state out. Good things happen. And if you was to say to me a couple of years ago you'd be back in the kitchen doing what you love to do, I'd have laughed at you. But another good reason why you should change your life around if you can, because good things will happen. Do you know what I mean? I'm really excited for my future now, and I said it before, there was a time when I didn't think I had one. Do you know what I mean? So,
and I think I'm sure you day to day now, when you wake up in the morning, you just feel generally a lot more positive about the day ahead, and what you're going to be doing and what you're going to be.
I'm actually excited to get back to work, and that's unheard of for me.
That's mad. That's mad. That's like
normally I'll drive past them.
I'm totally with you on that. It's like yesterday, it's a Saturday. Last thing I want to do is be in fucking work on a Saturday. But when on the drive in, my mindset was totally different. I had the radio on. I was singing to bloody songs on the radio. I was actually going to work. I was actually in a really good place, and I had a good day.
Because one positive thought leads to another, and if you keep thinking positively, positive things will happen. I'm 100% convinced of that. Well, I know it. I know it from fact. And that's why when negative thoughts, negative things were happening. My life was fucking chaos. Do you know what I mean? Absolute chaos. When I look at my life, how it was before and how it is now, I think, fuck me. And it's bad when you're in the shit as well. Yeah. It's not until you're out of it and look back you realise how bad it was. You know what I mean? I was involved with mental people and mental things going on. Yeah. And it was scary times. I was just in complete self-destruct mode. But
to be able to look back at that now and realise that,
mate, and that's why I think I'm so passionate about trying to pull people out of that. Do you know what I mean? But like you say, I find balance with stuff now and don't take on too many people's problems. I can help with the solution and I can guide people and pull them up. But like someone gave me some good advice before. Like I've helped mates out and they've slipped back into old ways and everything, and that affected me at the beginning. But my sponsor Gary, who we were talking about, he said people fall, and if you try and grab them when they're falling back down, they can pull you back with them. But if you let them fall and you offer out your hand to pick them back up when they need it, but you got to let them go on their own way and let them. If they're not ready, they're not ready. And the time you put into phone calls with people that aren't ready and put in your time and everything, and you know for a fact that they're just going to go back out and use, that is time where your phone is like off the hook, and someone that actually needs the help is trying to get through. Do you know what I mean? So you have to let people fall sometimes. I'll offer out my hand if they want help back up, but if they fall, they go off and have to do what they do for a while, and then. Of course. And
I get it, man. I felt that. The last podcast I've done was talking about my 2017 and going off on that mad one and doing the 3 peaks But it's only from talking about that where I finally realised what I was going through and sort of being able to look back and see that. I think I was crying out for help back then, and I remember I'd post a lot of stuff up, and I'd always put that. I don't know, it's bad looking back, but I'd put the hashtag "Are you watching closely?" and I'd always put that on there, and no one ever questioned it. So I know no one ever picked up on it, but I'd put up all these things, and people would be like, "Oh wow, it's amazing, Jack! Like, oh, well done, you." You're not seeing what's actually going on here. Do you know what I mean? I was in a bad place, and that's only now 5 years on where I can look back and go, I was in a bad place then, and I got myself out of it from everything that I put myself through. I did become a lot stronger for it, and
when you're in the midst of the chaos, it's hard to realise how bad it is. Like I said, you know it's bad, but you don't realise how bad it is. And that's the same with mental health and drinking and stuff. But if you're in a bad relationship or something, you know it's shit at the time. It's not until you come out of it and you think, fuck me, what? Like, do you know what I mean? That was bad. Do you know what I mean? But
talking about relationships, I did see earlier on you posted about wanting to get back into dating.
That was a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek joking, but
here we go, mate. Put me on the spot.
Let's fucking go. I think I've gone there. So I heard it's sort of an unwritten rule in recovery that for your first year of sobriety you should knock it all on the head. I've heard that, but a lot of people don't. Whatever works for them, as long as they stay sober, I suppose. But for me personally, I just wanted to knock it all on the head for a bit and not have any distractions. And I give up smoking, drinking, drugs, and girls, and giving up girls was the hardest one. A lot of it, but sometimes. But I like my own company now, and I can sit and watch a film and everything on my own. I'm 8 months Tuesday, and I am thinking about dipping a toe back into that. But whatever, I'm happy single. I'm happy to consider going on a date, and that. Either way, I'm happy, which is a good position to be in.
Totally, man. I think that's important. That's kind of where I'm at now. My 2 wobbles that I've had, last year that was tied into something very similar to sort of what happened back in 2017. But relationships, I suppose it does come back to a little bit of fear, I suppose, because I know when it goes wrong, or I do invest in someone, and it goes wrong, I know the effect that it can have on me. It can lead me spiraling into these antics that I've been on, and these mad years that I've had. But I used to feel like that. Yeah, I did, but because, like you say, you could. But then I used to wear my heart on my sleeve and give too much and rely too much on a relationship, because I used to live. I didn't live in a solution then. I lived in fear, and now I live in faith. So I think whatever will be, and so I think I understand completely where you're coming from, but I think sometimes you've got to take a leap of faith in that as well. I do, mate, and that's and I am in a good place. I'm very open about meeting the right person, but that's always, when I say that term, the right person, that's where I'm at now. Like I am meeting people. I'll quite happily go out on dates, or go and meet someone, or go do something. But I think you're a bit like me, where you're out on your sleeve, don't jump too quickly into things. But with me now, I'm just gonna. I'll start dating that again, but I'm not gonna jump into anything straight away and whatnot. My recovery comes first, my kids come first, and I'll start dating, and the goal, obviously, eventually I know that I'll meet the right person, settle down, and that would be great. But I'm in no rush for it. No, and I'm not. I'm not in any rush. I'm just. That does have to be the right person. I've got a lot of emotional baggage. I know I do. But for the right person, that won't be. Do you know what I mean? And I know that because I have met people before that has felt like that, even though it ended up going bad. But at the time, that felt right. And I know I can get that again. I know I can. So. My concern as well is I do a lot for people with mental health, don't I? If I settle down with one woman, that's going to cause a lot of women's mental health. Oh dear. That is the other thing. Although I've had all these lovely messages from people that I've helped, there has been a lot more female attention, and that is I wasn't expecting that either. Got a lot of random messages out of the blue. Are you single? Are you single? Just gotta let them down gently. You get used to it. I get that. Brilliant. Get that. That's great chat anyway. I think we've rambled on for long enough for this episode, I think. Brilliant. But I think another thing I wanted to quickly make a point of is that we're going to do one-on-one chats like this. Yeah. But I want to get people interacting, put some topics in a jar, maybe. Yeah. If people want to message me or you or write a comment underneath wherever this is. And just put topics that they think. I think, Matt, I think it's got potential. We could do all sorts of this. We could obviously we can record it every time, but we can even try like doing a live stream, whether that be on Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, I haven't had much luck with them in the past. But you're the technology man. I am, mate. Yeah. No, that's I'm a tech wizard. Yeah, I'm just a wizard. You know what I mean? So, but there's potential there. I like it. I think we do that. I like interviewing people, and some of the people that we've had on with fantastic stories. That's been brilliant. But I like that. That sense we can just settle and then just sort of cover the things that we've talked about, or cover what's going on in our own lives. Yeah, exactly. That feels like just leveling out again. Yeah, I've got some great guests lined up. Really great guests. I'm not going to mention any names just yet, but there is some very inspirational stories coming up. Yeah. We're going to go a bit further afield for some of them. Yeah. Might even do a couple on Zoom for people that are in different countries and stuff. I'm doing a podcast with
couple of lads in Texas
Yeah.
for mental health. Yeah, I've got that coming up.
Awesome.
I've got a few podcasts coming up actually on other people's things. So yeah, if it goes well, then perhaps we'll invite them on our show and that as well.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But that goes down to you as well, because I should be a fucking caveman. I can't understand technology. I do Facebook and stuff like that. I've got to narrow that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I should still be sending smoke signals really.
That's good, mate. Future's bright. I think there's a lot more potential with this, and it's good to be along for the ride, mate.
Yeah, good. Like, share and share it with your mates, people that need to hear it, and people that don't.
Excellent way to finish, mate. Yeah, really good.
We're going for a dip. I think it's so needed.
Take it easy.
Peace.